Hello and welcome. This is going to be a quick video where I'm looking at a surprising addition for X-plane.12, namely the Flightfactor 777 version 1. Not 2, 2 isn't out yet. Version 1, to be precise, version 1.11.4, which was, I think, came out in March or April or May. I'm not sure when exactly it came out. So this version 1.11 was actually to also make this aircraft usable in X-plane.12, which surprised me quite a bit. So about 2 weeks ago I discovered it. I got myself that version from Aerosoft, because I have still the Aerosoft version of that, and gave it a go. Well, it didn't work. It does work in a way, but it was mainly with the throttles. That was a complete disaster. I finally managed to get to the runway, and I activated the auto-throttle, and that was it. Done, finito. Rien ne va plus. I wasn't able to get off the airport with this aircraft. So I was quite disappointed and thought, well, why do you issue something that you obviously haven't quality assured, and give hope to people like me that at least for the time being, until we get version 2, I can maybe use from time to time, can use this aircraft in X-plane.12, and then you have a bomber like this. Yeah, and I was not the only one having that problem. But 2 days ago, I discovered let's call it a workaround, a wild fix. It isn't even the fix, which I'm going to introduce here. Right, so we're now in the aircraft, but the thing is, before you want to use this one, and before you start the simulator, you have to make a change in one of the X-plane system files, because that one will prevent the behavior that I have seen. And the behavior was basically, the moment you activated the auto-throttle, your throttle levers were stuck, and they were stuck in a way that they didn't take input, they didn't move. Even if you turned the auto throttle off, it was still all blocked. It was a nightmare. Nothing worked. I was on the runway and I couldn't get anywhere because the engines wouldn't spool up. Okay, that's what we're trying to fix here. Now, in order to that, and I found this on a forum, on the, I guess it's the X-plane forum, and it was something that was posted in the very post that Ramses, I think, was the initiator, where Ramses was telling us that they have kind of made this aircraft work in X-plane.12. Quick fix, he said. Well, he didn't give any guarantees, like they did a quick fix, quick and dirty, unfortunately, more dirty than quick. And so, yeah, that's how it worked. And that guy, one of the recent posts, as I say, 2 days ago or so when I made this video, he said, go to the file, your X-plane folder, output, preferences, X-plane.prf. PRF is the main preferences file, and it has all your settings stored in it, at least sort of the main simulator settings. You can see tons and tons of lines here. So what you have to look for is mode ATHR, mode auto-throttle, mode ATHR. And most likely you're going to have a -1 in there. If you do have a -1 in there, this is what you need to change. You have to make it a 0, because it seems that when this is -1, it will kind of block your throttle levers and generally, and don't ask me if this is something that's different. It's probably something that's different in X-plane 12 than it was in X-plane 11. I'm not even sure if X-plane 11 had this setting. So making this a 0, and please do this without the simulator running, because otherwise the simulator will override this again, because it always writes the current settings. So if you make this change, do it without the simulator running, so the next time the simulator is started, you will have the 0 in there. Don't forget to strafe. That's one part of the trick. The other part of the trick is to go here, go to keyboard, and look for Auto-Throttle, and get yourself 2 keys or buttons, doesn't matter really. One you assign to the Autopilot throttle, Autopilot Auto-Throttle arm. I use Control or Steuerung R. That's up to you. What you use here doesn't matter. And the other one, you need to program the Autopilot Auto-Throttle off and disarm. Now don't ask me what's that in German, because I have an English installation here, but it's something like Autopilot, Auto-Throttle aus und, ja, keine Ahnung, disarm. You know. Get yourself two buttons or 2 keys defined for that, and remember it. And that is basically the fix. Now, this doesn't just do away with the actual problem, but what it does is it gives you the means of actually overcoming it, which wasn't possible without what we just did. So I actually moved to the runway because this is a quick look and I don't want to waste time with all the setup. One thing that I didn't do and we should do is actually a very quick route setup, because we want to also try out a takeoff. So I'm just providing the basic route, not much in it. We're going to depart runway 07 Apta for hotel, and we're going to arrive, well, we're not, but normally my time fly route would. So that's that. Then go to legs, we close the discontinuity, and we're activating, executing this. Then we're going to flight number T1. Okay. Performance in it. Now the zero fuel weight. Yeah. I think. Well, what doesn't work, by the way, is all this here. I couldn't get this to load anything, but no problem, because it works from this end. So total internal fuel weight, well, 9.8 tons would be a little bit on the low side. I don't care. It's just for testing the takeoff. Total payload weight is 0. So what you can do is you can get yourself the 154.9 tons, and you enter that in the, up here in the gross weight, 154.9, I think. Yeah, and let's say 5 tons we have. Yeah. You could actually press performance init request, and then it will put in 155. So yeah, okay. Cruise altitude, whatever. And cost index 35. So I'm just doing to have a reasonable setup. I'm not using temperature normally unless I have something to calculate this with decently. We're going to use flaps 5. I still am looking for where I can get this here, and I most likely have 26. Oh, press on takeoff request, you get it. I must have overlooked something, so let's go back to performance, Thrust limit. V-speeds unavailable. So we've selected minus 5% takeoff 1, which is supposed to have 96.7. We shall see if it really does that. Then we go to takeoff and yeah. I know something is missing, most likely. I use the demo mode, which kind of sets up the aircraft, so I wouldn't be surprised if something isn't correctly set up here. Takeoff. Now let's put in a temperature by all means. So takeoff, flaps 5. V-speeds unavailable. Doesn't matter. So what we're going to do, it's not about V-speeds anyway. We'll just put in something which is somewhere in the range of where it should be. I don't know. Alright, and that's it. That finishes the setup, because the thing is, I'm going to set now the LNAV and VNAV. We're going to turn on the IAS, so the V2. Oops. What did I say? 150. Okay. Heading is 070. For me, this whole mouse wheel thingy does not work at all. It's a nightmare. So I turned it off in the settings. By the way, you can do that here. And yeah, there are some things that, for example, the APU is an instant comer. You press the button and you have APU. Woo, zack. Not realistic. But I don't care as long as the APU actually starts up, because it was, I think, one of the problems we had without this fix that they did for X-plane.12. Now let's try and get flaps 5 set up. And I think that'll do. Yeah, that should do for the takeoff. Now, what happened to me before I did this was as soon as I activated the auto-throttle and I pressed the toga, nothing happened. And then, no matter what I did here, nothing. Nada. So the aircraft would sit there on the runway and wouldn't move one bit. Okay? That is fixed now with the setting you're done. And the other thing is, by using the two buttons, you can try and deactivate and activate the auto-throttle, because it will do funny things. So you might actually have to deactivate it. So Shift Control R for me is deactivating it, Control R is activating it, in my case, whatever you put in as keys. So we're going to turn on the auto-throttle. I hope I'm taping this. Yes, that happened to me before. I was doing all the nice things and I didn't press the unpause the video. Okay, so I'm putting forward. Oh yeah, let's disconnect, and now I'm pressing the toga, and then I'm carefully watching. And as you can see, now it is. Okay. Yesterday what happened is it would start to lower and kind of bring down the engines again. Whoa. Yeah, it's very light today. Positive rate. Gear up. And now I'm activating the autopilot, and I let the thing do its job. And now we're just watching what it does. Flaps 1. And it's all working, and I haven't even had to press that button. Yesterday I had to press the buttons. Today, apparently not. What happened during the flight was that eventually it would actually exceed the maximum speed. And the speed intervention did not work, at least not immediately, so I again had to play with my Control R and Shift Control R keys, and eventually then the auto-throttle would kick in and it would keep the speed. Yeah, and here we are in rocket mode. As I say, we are quite light. Transition. So, looks good. Looks absolutely good. It's these small little things that make this actually work. Now, don't expect everything to be honky-dory and 100%. I mean, this is a very old aircraft. It comes from X-plane 10. Was it there before that? Possibly, I don't know. So it's one of the first Flightfactor or Ramses at the time, I think, aircraft. So you have to expect that there are some things not quite right, especially in the context of X-plane 12, because things have changed in X-plane 12. Certain things don't work the way they used to in X-plane 11. So they fixed only the most pressing issues. That's usually around flaps, starting the engines. That's probably one of the reasons why the APU is there so quickly. This is probably also a workaround, I would guess. So we've stopped climbing at 10,000. Oh yeah, because we're accelerating. That's something that it did before too, which is a bit irritating, and sometimes VATSIM controllers would tell you to continue climbing because it would stop climbing. But as soon as it reaches the speed, it continues. And I think I must have... Oh, yeah, very interesting. The auto startup thingy, forgot to turn on these two. It's kind of a demo that goes through the whole startup procedure, and it's whenever I can't be bothered with doing it all myself, I let it run and then I just program the FMC. I used to do that with this aircraft quite a lot. So we're now at 300 knots. And now I want to see if we get the same effect that I had yesterday in the live stream. Now the thing is, I was just testing it in the live stream, so obviously today I did it very sequentially and very concentrated, kind of. Could be that yesterday I might have accidentally hit the keys and maybe brought the auto-throttle into the wrong state, because, as I say, I had some issues. And it also started to accelerate during cruise. But it looks like it's fine. So we are in business. We are in business. Yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to show you. Looks like we can use the 777, but I wouldn't do it for complicated Watson flights and the likes. you might not be too happy with it. So just maybe use it for, yeah, when you're not flying anything. Oh, look. So let's see if it stays under the barber pole, because that's what happened. It was accelerating and accelerating and accelerating. It didn't stop there. Today it does. Okay, so whatever I did yesterday was probably confused, so I had to use the keys, and eventually I got it back into that mode. So it would then do it properly again in VNAV mode. But somehow I managed to, we're accelerating. But this time it will jump out of the acceleration. So let me try actually to go on the VNAV here. We're on cruise, and let's put in 0.60. Where did the Mach go? Hang on. So why are we econ speed? What the heck is that? 0.6. Okay, I think we discovered another one. Let's go on speed intervention, Mach. Okay, yeah, as you can see, so you might have to take over here, and you have to definitely watch it doing funny things. But it's working now, because originally I tested it and it failed completely, so I was not able to get this to work properly, so I never bothered making a video with this. Now it is at least possible to use it. Whether or not you want to subject yourself to this behavior is up to you. Okay, that's it. I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching. Until next time.